Paul, 45 minutes sure goes by fast when you're talking about social media and all the platforms that we were looking at. But gosh, it was a fun conversation today.
It was, it's inexhaustible. We could have talked for hours on that call. You could tell everyone didn't really want to get off because there was, a lot of going on. But like you said, first rule of show business, always leave them wanting more.
It was really interesting to hear what platforms everybody was on, the ones people are curious about, the ones people are weaning themselves off of. So Facebook, Instagram seem to be universal. Twitter, people are barely present, if at all. TikTok, lots of curiosity, not sure. Marketers seem to be unsure whether they want to jump into that one or not, and how to approach it. Yeah, and so very interesting just hearing how much content people are posting and what their strategy is.
Yeah, and there's also like this borderline. It's like the borderlands of social media, which is Google My Business, right? Is it social media? Is it just search? Like, what exactly is it? And that landscape's getting a lot more complicated now that Google My Business, people are starting to be able to display actually inventory there. We talked for a while about that, and I think that it's we're going to need to zoom up our marketing strategies a lot, not zoom in, but we're going to need to zoom out with all the changes coming and like deciding like what is social media, what is not. There's a big mushy middle developing, and so like that's why I love these calls, because we're in it with practitioners. And now even that we have a private Slack group, and the conversation can continue, like we're going to work it out.
Yeah, absolutely. A really interesting topic that came up was access. Who do you give access to,
Oh
and
yeah.
who is creating the content? Who at the dealerships, and how is that moderated? Is it just a free for all, or varying levels of moderation? A couple folks using tools like Hootsuite to at least have a final approval before something is posted. It's certainly something that scares marketers, is the idea of other people having access to social
And
channels.
holding your brand right there and
Oh,
able to like fire it out into the world with God knows what, God knows when.
yeah, is it on brand or not? And when is the sky going to fall?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
lots of great conversation about that, and how software can help us. Hootsuite, Sprout Social, a couple other platforms are out there that can help with at least giving moderation capabilities to the marketing team
Mhm.
when you are, I'll say, forced to give the
Yeah.
keys to the castle to a dealership, and you're a little uncertain as to how that's going to go.
That's true. I mean, like ever since social media came up, the keys to the castle, they were no longer in a lockbox now. They kind of sit out front on the desk, and it's a constant defense of can I give them, should I give them to it's part of the fun part, right? Without those problems, what would you need CMOs for?
Absolutely. And now I asked the group about measurement of your organic strategies, and how that we were taking a look at strategy in general, but it's rare that I bring something up and there's crickets in the room, that was one, that measurement of organic social is a real challenging space. You had some interesting ideas on that yourself, Paul.
It's really tough to measure organic, because like a lot of metrics can be considered vanity metrics, but deciding, is it vanity or am I actually getting insight? I think that the deeper levels of engagement, like comments, meaningful comments from people who don't work for you, are a great opportunity to at least see if what you're making is hitting the mark. And reading your comments and getting some insight into what people are doing is always helpful. I'm a big fan of tying it back to actual business results as much as possible. And like some of our attendees brought up, like it's much easier to do that in the service department, because the cycle is so much faster of consideration to do service. So if you're doing good organic around service, you should be able to measure it in things like customer pay and RO count and things like that. So getting it back to a real business measurable as soon and as quickly as possible is always the challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a great case study that was brought up in the group around service
Yeah.
for social. That certainly raised some eyebrows.
Oh yeah.
And that's part of the fun of this group is we bounce ideas around, and sometimes something's mentioned. People are scribbling down notes, and it serves as inspiration for our ongoing work. So if it's something you'd like to join, you are welcome to hop in. If you're a tier 3 marketing leader, we
Come
welcome
home.
you.
Come
Uh,
home.
yes, come home for coffee.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll have the link down below underneath the video here. So, and lastly, Paul, it took us 43 and a half minutes before someone mentioned Clubhouse.
And it was you.
And it was me.
It was you mentioning that no one mentioned it. Yeah, I don't think Clubhouse is effective for selling cars yet, but like you said in the session, it's great for professional development and enrichment. And just like everything else, we'll have to wait and see if it sticks.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, always fun. Looking forward to next time. Thanks, as always, Paul, for co-moderating with me. And yeah, it's a great gang we have. So hope you can come and join us.
Without a doubt. I'll see you next time.